So hello and warm welcome from my side, and let's directly start and see what new things there are in device management. First thing I want to mention is the improved and unified user experience we introduced for the repositories. So as probably each of you knows, in device management, we have several repositories holding all the different artifacts that you need to deploy them on your device, like software configuration files, firmware versions, but then also the device profiles that contain a mixture of each of these items. But as deployments become more complex and more items will be added up, it's also becoming more complex to manage those things. So in order to make it easier for you to manage any artifact that you hold in your repository, to easily find everything that you need, we basically now adopted the same component that we also already use in the all device list and in the wizard for the bulk operations, so that you have basically a unified experience across all lists in device management, and can also benefit from improved sort and filtering capabilities, so you can directly find whatever you're looking for. The next thing I want to mention are the configurable log events for Lightweight M2M devices. So if you end up in a situation where one or multiple devices are not behaving as expected, you want to get as much transparency as possible to see what's actually going on. One important thing, particularly for Lightweight M2M devices, is the lifecycle event that we already track automatically to see the communication basically of the device. So we track all registration update events on deregistrations to directly see what's the health status of your device. With the new improvement, we introduced a configuration option for the event logging, allowing you a more detailed logging that also includes information about the traffic, so data being received and sent, as well as firmware information, so about the firmware update process on your device. But you also will have the option to turn off the event logging completely in order to optimize for costs, because they will incur MEAs. So you can also at the same time optimize for your costs. Next thing I'd like to introduce, this more forward-looking thing, but this will be available soon, but also based on MQTT service that will be touched on by Jane later on as well, is the flexible payload decoding for Lightweight M2M. So the problem that I'm not sure if someone who from you is not so familiar with Lightweight M2M, benefit of Lightweight M2M that it comes with a standardized data model, which is based on objects and resources. And right now, the mapping is based on individual resources being mapped into the Cumulocity data model. Once you would like to have more complex mappings where you might want to map multiple resources into the data model at once, that becomes quite tricky, which is why we now decided to push data to the MQTT service from the Lightweight M2M agent, allowing you to basically apply any kind of logic that you want for the payload decoding. So you have a much higher degree of flexibility. You can basically fully design or decide on how you want to decode your Lightweight M2M payload. The next item that we have is the software type support for device profiles. So quite some time ago, we already introduced the concept of software types in order to make it easier for you to manage your software, to see, basically to be able to differentiate between different software packages. So that helps quite a bit when you want to deploy certain packages, to see whether it's a container or something else. So you can basically define it however you want, which of course is supported by software, but however not yet supported hasn't been supported by the device profiles. So with that introduction, you can also now see the software type of a software package that's added to your device profile also in the device profile view. But this information will also be sent with each device profile operation. So that also makes it easier for you for device integrators to integrate also for the device profile functionality, because you now have a unified behavior across all operations that contain any software. Exactly. Next thing that's actually quite exciting is the enhanced functionality around managing software on your device. So I already mentioned the more complex workloads that you might want to deploy on your device, and for that we introduced some functionality also already quite some time ago, like the ability to install, reinstall, or update software. However, we currently don't have the chance to, we don't provide the chance for you to interact with already running software. So we enhanced our feature set in a sense that you can now restart, stop, and also pause currently running software or services running on your device, which will also be supported directly by ThinEdge. So we already had discussions around supporting out of the box that functionality by, for example, the container management plugin, but also other functionalities provided by ThinEdge. So we can directly benefit from that functionality without having to implement anything additionally. And you will also have the chance to extend it if needed. And we so you can basically directly access this functionality from the service overview in device management, but also in the detailed view when you go to a specific service, where you also see the different metrics that are provided by the service, but then you also can basically trigger this action from that view as well. And last but not least, we also improved the device map. So we had some limitations regarding that map, for example, that we only were able to list 100 devices, especially with a lot of devices being shown in that map. It also was quite visually overwhelming. And in addition to that, if you have a deployment, for example, in Australia and directly start in Germany, that doesn't make too much sense. So the start view when opening that view might not be aligned with actually your deployment or the location of your deployment, but that's now changed. So we got rid of that 100 device limitation. We make it easier for you to consume what you see here by aggregating multiple devices in just one pin, where you see, okay, X number of devices are in that location, and then you can scroll in and get more details on that. So it makes it easier for you to consume such a view and to basically get an overview of the distribution of your devices. You can also scroll towards west and east more easily, because we also there had some limitations that we now overcame. And last but not least, you can also define the center of your deployment, and basically when opening up your view, you can then directly see your deployment and not have to change or scroll to basically your deployment, and that makes it, I guess, easier for you to use that.